Let's welcome the narrators, Lim Eugene and Yu Cheng Hong.
Jason was a royal prince, but he did not live in a palace. He lived in a cave, high up in the mountains of Greece. When he was a child, his father's throne had been seized by the cruel king Peleus. Jason's family sent him away to hide in the mountains. He was cared for by a centaur named Chiron, who was half man and half horse. Chiron taught Jason many skills, and he grew up to be a strong athlete, a good musician, and a powerful leader. Our story begins as Jason, now a young man, says goodbye to Chiron and sets off determined to win back his father's throne, proudly wearing his father's golden sandals.
After walking a long way, Jason reached the river that was flowing fast across his path, roaring angrily. All of a sudden, Jason found an old woman standing beside him. "Where are you going?" she asked. "I am going to win back my father's throne from the wicked King Peleus," Jason replied. "If you are strong enough to do all that, then you are certainly strong enough to carry me over the river," said the old woman. Jason dared not refuse, so he lifted her onto his back and plunged into the roaring river.
While crossing the river, Jason's foot got caught in a crevice. Unexpectedly, wriggling free, he lost one of his precious sandals, but safely delivered the old woman to the other side of the river. "Don't fret," said the old woman. "The talking oak tree has told me all about you. Before long, you will have a final pair of sandals. Now, follow that path over the mountain."
Jason continued and reached the land ruled by King Peleus. "Where can I find the king?" he demanded from an old man sitting by the mountain path at the sacrifice of the great black bull, replied the man. Follow the smoke. Jason came to a large gathering of people in front of a burning pyre. The crowd parted and started to murmur as Jason approached. The king was furious.
Who dares cause such a disturbance? He growled, glaring at Jason. As the king looked Jason up and down, he noticed his one bare foot. A look of terror came across his face. He had been warned by the talking oak tree many years ago that one day he would be overthrown by a man wearing one golden sandal. Jason introduced himself and bravely demanded the return of his father's throne. The king roared with laughter at his boldness. I will give you back your kingdom, but only on one condition, he said with a sneer. You must go in search of the golden fleece and return it here to its rightful place. The king chuckled quietly to himself. He had sent many young men in search of the fleece, but not one had returned. Jason decided to gather his thoughts and rested under a large oak tree before setting off in search of the fleece.
The old oak tree was on the edge of an ancient wood. Its dark shadow spread far and wide. Resting underneath the tree, Jason looked up to the strong branches and whispered sleepily, What shall I do to win the golden fleece? The leaves began to rustle as if a gentle breeze was blowing. It sounded like a million tongues, softly babbling, growing stronger and stronger until it resembled a tornado rushing and roaring through the branches. The oak spoke in a deep voice. Go to Argus the shipbuilder and ask him to build a boat with 50 oars. Then the voice mysteriously died away. Jason found Argus in the next village. Argus has never built such a large boat, but called together all the carpenters of the village to help him to cut down the largest trees of the ancient wood. They set to work sawing and hammering.
Jason sent messengers to all the cities in Greece, declaring that he was going to find the golden fleece and asking for 49 brave, strong men to row the boat named Argo across the dangerous seas. He would call his men Argonauts. Amongst the men he chose was Hercules, the strongest man in the whole of Greece, and Orpheus, a harpist. At last, the boat was finished, but it was so heavy that even Hercules could not move it. At that moment, the voice of the talking oak tree was heard saying, Get in, sit down, point your oars upwards, and let Orpheus play on his harp. As Orpheus played, the Argo, with all the Argonauts inside, slipped down the beach and into the sea. The voyage had begun.
After a difficult journey, Jason and his Argonauts reached the lands of the sacred grove and were greeted by the curious inhabitants. I have come to ask your permission to take the golden fleece to King Peleus in return for my father's kingdom. A beautiful young girl stepped forward. Her name was Medea. To take the golden fleece, you must obtain 2 bulls that breathe fire from their nostrils. They could arrest you alive, but I think I can help you. Meet me here at midnight.
It was a starry night, and the bulls were grazing peacefully in the furthest corner of the field. Medea whispered, "The ointment in the box will protect you from being burned to a cinder." After covering himself in the ointment, Jason walked forward boldly to see streams of fiery vapors beginning to pour from the bull's nostrils. Suddenly, they charged. But as they see Jason, a great change came over them, and like lambs, they returned to their grazing. Medea grabbed Jason's hand and led him through the forest, where the leaves were so dense that the moon was hidden. After a little while, Medea whispered,
Look, do you see it gleaming through the trees? There, the radiant light shined like the blazing sun. Suddenly, there was a frightful hiss. The huge head and scaly body of a dragon thrust forward from behind the tree. It hissed, stretched to its full length, and started belching smoke and fire from its jaws. Quick, said Medea, throw the contents of this golden box down the monster's throat. Jason hurled the box at the dragon's fiery jaw. As the potion took effect, its rifting tail thrashed wildly and it crashed to the ground. Now take your prize, Medea urged.
Jason snatched the golden fleece from the tree. As he turned round, he was surprised to see the old woman that he had helped over the river standing in Medea's place. She clapped her hands, the joy, and told him to hurry back before he came across any more danger. Jason ran through the forest, the blaze of light from the golden fleece lighting his path. The Argonauts were ready, their oars held high, for they could see Jason approaching with his prize. With one bound, Jason leapt on board, and the Argonauts cheered. As the boat skimmed homewards over the waves, Orpheus played his harp and sang a song of triumph.